What do you think of AMD? What do you mean, what do I think of AMD? In terms of price stock going up, I'm going to be real with you guys. Okay, I'm going to give you two scenarios. I'm going to give you two scenarios. I'm going to give you four scenarios, but I'm going to give you two main scenarios. And I want you to decide what you would do in this situation. Scenario one. NVIDIA. Okay, you've got GPUs, right? We remember what happened during COVID and everything like that. Let's say gaming, right? Gaming, even though gaming has gone down since COVID, the amount of males that are gaming, especially during the hours, if you look at the chart of male virginity in America and male gaming time in America, very correlated. I'm not saying all you gamers are virgins. I'm just saying that we're moving into a less social society. People are spending more time, okay? Gaming isn't going anywhere. We know that AI is taking over everything. I could spend an entire fucking hour on AI, okay? We know it's there. And we know that the leader right now in AI and semiconductors, GPUs, the whole let's just say in that sector is NVIDIA. What if NVIDIA is lying to us? What if the demand is not actually for them is not what it says? What if maybe with the demand is there, but what if the ability to keep up is not there? Because if AI really does hit its fucking next gear, right? What if they can't keep up? Isn't gaming relatively, I'm talking, gaming's one thing. I haven't even got into crypto yet, but. So what if they're lying about everything? Not lying as in like a legal term, please don't sue me. But as in like they are, let's say maybe lying is not the right word. What if they are overstating their abilities? So there's other things that come into play. My big thing is, and this is how I value invest, right? I look for companies that are on the brink of a breakthrough or something big, and I look for, if they can't keep up, who is going to be the secondary and the subsidiary, right? So like when the semiconductor shit was happening in COVID, right? And they couldn't keep up and supply chains were bad. I said, all right, I don't want anything to do with the major ones. I don't want anything to do with China. Where is a small company that these guys are going to have to outsource to help them keep up that has supply chains that they don't have to ship across the sea? And that's how we found AEHR. And we got AEHR at $3.10, and it's now up 1,500%. We got lucky to find it, I guess, but whatever. You always look for the small ones, right? During COVID, right? We knew Pfizer was going to be most likely first to market with a vaccine. But Pfizer's a big company. They've got other shit going on. They need to outsource. So who'd they do? They outsourced to BioNTech. All right? Pfizer went up 20%. BioNTech went up 1,000%, right? So you want to see who's there. I'm doing the same thing right now. I am heavily invested in NVO because I'm looking at these weight loss drugs. I already did a whole whiteboard on it about how much money there, how obese people is, and how many lazy people want this shit. But I don't care about NVO. NVO, by the way, is now the most valuable company in all of the EU. But here's the thing. They can't keep up. They've already bought 3 small companies. I want to know who they're going to outsource to. I want to know who's going to be their supplier or their distributor. Who's going to be the one to help them keep up. That's the company that I want to invest in, right? So look at NVIDIA, for example. NVIDIA is the leader. Everybody wants to be in on that. And as long as it's the major, blue chip in that sector, people will invest in it. Look at Tesla. From a book value, Tesla is so overpriced, it's not even funny. But guess what? It doesn't matter what I think or you think the value of something is. The value of something is what people are willing to pay for it. And if people are willing to pay that much money for it, that's how much it's worth. I remember when AMD was $13.88 with a PE ratio of 300. There is nobody in the fucking world who was going to buy or should have, from a fundamental standpoint, a stock that had a 300 price to earnings ratio at $13.88. But guess what? Shit went to $100, right? So people are going to be investing in several different things. Number one, this market is overvalued and overinflated because everybody has money and people that normally wouldn't buy it are buying it. And so everyone is buying shit with forward ranges, evaluation, 5 to 10 years of what it's supposed to be valued. That's what the value is now. Will that come crashing down? Who knows? As long as people have money and people have access to equities, it continues to go up. But NVIDIA is the leader. But if they can't keep up, who is the beneficiary, right? Who is going to step in? Or if they have to give up a part of their business to focus on another, who is going to be the winner of that? right? So if you've got GPUs, which let's say crypto goes crazy again, right? People start mining again, even though China made it illegal. Let's say China makes it legal again, or they decriminalize it. Now NVIDIA has to make a decision. What do they focus on? And if that's the case, who's going to be the one to step up? And look at the semiconductors sector. You have a lot of players in there. You have AMD, you have Intel, you have TSM, you have MU, you have there's 100 of them, right? There's so many. ON in there. There's 88. There's so many in there. Who benefits off of what scenario, right? Let's say China invades Taiwan, right? Let's say India it continues with China and kicks MU out. Let's say NVIDIA needs help or can't keep up with it. Who is it set in position to take over, right? So when you ask me, what do I think of AMD? I think AMD is still very valuable, and I think AMD still has a upward trajectory as long as semiconductors in the world is utilizing them and there's a demand for them. But they're also falling behind a bit when it comes to AI. So the question is, do they pivot? Or do they stick to what they're doing, hoping that NVIDIA and others chase the AI hype and cut their market share in some of the chips, and AMD gets to now be the leader in that? AMD could go to 300. I don't know what's going to happen. ON is chips for semiconductor for the auto industry. Yeah, I know. I was just talking about like the sector as a whole. This is why I say, instead of trying to figure that out, why not just own all of them? So if this one goes crazy up and this one flatlines, instead of being like, oh, I wish I would have gotten this one, or if this one flatlines and this one goes up, oh, I wish I would have gotten this one, why not just get an ETF that encompasses, and it has weight, it has different weight, so it has more NVIDIA than it has others, and just ride the momentum of the whole sector. That way, if one of them fucking collapses or doesn't do well, the rest of them are carrying the weight. You get a piece of that whole pie. Sure, everyone's going to go look back and FOMO and say, well, but if I would have bought NVIDIA at XYZ, I'd have this much money. Sure, I could play that game. If I didn't sell Apple for a 42% fucking loss in 2008, all right? We can all play that game. But for those of you guys who want to be invested in this sector and you want to be able to grow your money without having to worry about the craziness and hit or miss and FOMO, just get you a fucking ETF. Okay? For 90% of you guys, ETFs are going to be the way to go. Think about it this way. Let's say you had a portfolio of $100,000, right? And you wanted to just have some decent size risk, but you didn't want to have to babysit positions. You could go 50% VU, right? 30% QQQ, 20% SOX, right? That's some risk. It's aggressive. But your 50%, yeah, your 50% exposure to the entire market, 30% to technology, and 20% to semiconductors. SOX expense ratio kind of high, but I get the point. Yeah, you know what I mean, though. I'm just trying to give you an example. StockGuy, apart from streaming income, would you say your main income stream is the stock market, or do you own properties that you rent out too? Would you like my mother's maiden name and social security number as well? Well, it depends on how you define income. Do you mean like money that I make that I immediately spend or reinvest? Because, for example, if I have property and the value is going up, then it's not income, right? Like my money in the market, when I have day trades and I have successful trades, I take it and I put it in my long-term investing account. It's not like I use it as income. And then I have income from dividends, about like $400 a month in that portfolio, but that just gets reinvested. But as far as like trying to pick individual stocks, you have to babysit. Just buy the semiconductor ETF. Everything needs semiconductors. Everything will continue to need semiconductors. Semiconductors aren't going anywhere. And instead of living and dying by one individual one, why not get it? If you're in one and it's doing well, scale out and just buy a total ETF on it. Please stop yelling at us, Daddy. I'm not yelling at you. Jesus stock, are you aging? Your hair is graying out. Everyone needs a little degen in them.